want to show you another knife here today. This one here has a little bit of history, like a lot of my knives do. This is my old Opinel, made in France. There you go. And I actually bought this one in France years ago, and got a little story, little history about it. I modified it by adding this little thong on it, and I made this leather slip for it that I stitched up not too long ago to put it in. Just a little simple slip, piece of leather stitched up, you know, to put it in. And this is the carbon steel No. 7. There's the blade, and you can see the tag stamp on it and everything. So a little history, if you're not familiar with Opinels, they've been around since 1890. I believe they still have their manufacturing facility in Savoy, France. And the history behind them, they were predominantly, I think, like something like over 80% of them sold, of these knives sold, have a beechwood handle, and like this one does. And rumor had they were sold kind of like as a peasant's knife, really, just a cheap utilitarian knife for people that couldn't afford, you know, anything nicer. But they've gained a huge following, and they've been around. They're still manufacturing them the same way. Rumor has it Picasso once used one of the Opinel knives as a sculpting tool. Kind of interesting little story there. But back in 1955, they patented the Viro block, which is this rotating locking collar on them. And when I bought this back in the 80s in France on the street, it was a street vendor over there in maybe Toulon, France, or Villefranche, or one of the cities, you know, along the Med. There was a street vendor selling these, and I had never heard of them. I didn't know anything about them back then. And I bought this, and it did not have this locking collar on it. And years later, actually about 2 years ago, I contacted Opinel, and I asked them, I said, you know, I have this knife I bought in France, and did you ever sell models back in the 80s without the Viro block, the rotating locking collar? And the rep I talked to said, no, your knife should have had one. I can send you one, but you'll have to pay shipping for it or something. And it was like $5, and I got it like a week later and put it on. And the newer ones, actually in the year 2000, they modified this. It used to only lock in the open position like that, to keep it from closing, you know, as a safety precaution for them. But then in 2000 they modified it to where it has this little notch cut out here where you can rotate it and lock it closed too, so it can't accidentally open up, you know, when it's folded up in your pocket. Of course, I have a slip for mine, so I don't have to really worry about remembering to lock it, because I have that. But yeah, the only modification I did to it was I bought it. It didn't have the locking collar, so I got that a couple of years ago, and I put it on, and it's the appropriate one for it. If you have one that's damaged or it needs that for any reason, their customer service is fantastic, and you just let them know. Like the guy that I talked to, I actually, you know, opened it up and I sent him a picture of it like that, and he said, I'm glad you did that, because now I'm sure I can send you the correct locking collar for it, Viro block for it, because they did change the No. 7 over the years, and this being an older model, it takes a little bit different of a locking collar. The only other modification I did is I took some of my conditioner that I make, that I use for leather and cutting boards and all kinds of stuff, and it's food grade beeswax that I bought. I think I got it on Amazon, and it came in a bag of little pellets of beeswax, and it was kind of a white color or translucent color, not like your yellowish beeswax. It's a food grade beeswax, and I mixed it with pure mineral oil, heated it up in a double cooker, and added mineral oil to it until I got to kind of like a pasty kind of consistency, and it's great finish for cutting boards and all that stuff and leather. And I just really coated this really good. If you can feel it, you kind of feel it's not sticky, but you can feel it's waxed. I just coated the whole thing real good with that stuff. Took a hair dryer to it, heated it up so that it would melt and sink down into the pores of the wood, because that's one of the gripes I think people have about it is, if this wood here gets end at the pivot point, it can swell up and make where the blade gets really tight. And then also you don't want it holding moisture and rusting your blade out or anything. But yeah, I just coated it really good with that wax, heated it up, and it soaked into the pores of the wood and water. It's completely waterproof. I wouldn't have any qualms, dunking this down into a bucket of water other than the blade, I'd want to dry it off right away. But the wood, it's not going to soak up any water with as much wax as I put on it. So yeah, just a quick video. I wanted to show you my Opinel No.7 and tell you a little bit about the history about it and everything. I love this knife. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, and come on back and check out the next knife video.